Hello everyone and welcome to this latest in the Pluto in Aquarius series of videos. This one focuses on what Pluto in Aquarius means for the generation that was born into Pluto in Leo. Let's start by looking at the dates for Pluto in Leo. So Pluto was in Leo, roughly speaking, from October 1937 through to June 1958. You'll see some gaps there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put all these dates into the description below so you can look at these dates in your leisure and figure out what your Pluto sign is if you're not sure. But roughly speaking, 1937 to the middle of 1958. Now let's have a look, first of all, about what Pluto in Leo was all about. Well, of course, Pluto in Leo coincided with World War II, 1939 to 1944. Tyrants, dictators, and heroes emerged. Of course, we can associate Leo with heroes, but because Pluto brings out the shadow side often of the sign that it's in, we also saw tyrants and dictators. So if you're a Leo sun or moon or etc., don't take it personally if I explain some of the shadow side of Leo here. It's about Pluto we're talking here. And also with Pluto in Leo, of course. This doesn't mean that I'm saying anything bad or negative about your character. These are general themes for Pluto in Leo. And it's very interesting to look at them and from a generational point of view. So we had the World War II, we had the atomic bomb, of course, and after the war, the horrors of war exposed, such as the Holocaust. There were collapsed economies, millions died, millions were homeless, land borders changed as a result of the war. The United Nations was formed to prevent future war. Eventually, as we came into the 1950s, there was increased affluence and leisure time. This period also, after the war, saw the rise of the US and the USSR as competitive superpowers. Now, what about Pluto in Leo? Some qualities of Pluto in Leo. Well, it says something about the entitlement to power. The shadow side of Leo can be arrogance, selfishness, narcissism, pridefulness, and childishness. The idea of feeling born to lead, feeling like you should be a king or a queen or a princess, being special, being superior and better. It was the start of the individualism, the me generation, or if we're being the shadow side, the me generation, for example, but standing out from the crowd. Remember, it was a generation, if you have Pluto in Leo, you're a generation who was born into a time of great change, the war and then the post-war years, of course. The world literally changed. To be more positive about Pluto in Leo and Leo generally, it's a sign of self-expression and creativity and playfulness. That childishness, on the other hand, is also playfulness, and we all need to play, however old we are. Courage and risk-taking. It's a sign of generosity, enthusiasm. It's warm-hearted. This is also the period when the cult of stardom was seeded, the idea of fame and infamous notoriety as well. So if you have Pluto in Leo, you will have the opposition when Pluto is in Aquarius. This will occur when this generation are in their 80s and will occur around the same time as the second Uranus return and the Neptune opposition, which also come in the mid-80s. Now, the second Uranus return can bring positive freedom and completion and more perspective to see what really matters, what's really important in life. And the Neptune opposition, again, is about perspective, new awareness of a wider vista of reality, perhaps some confusion as well, but a deepening of spirituality. Certainly, if you're already a spiritual person, but even if you're not, spirituality might come more into your life during the Neptune opposition. Now, due to the orbit of Pluto, it's currently quite rare to have a Pluto opposition. Although some with Pluto in Cancer will have had the opposition with Pluto in Capricorn. But because health and longevity have improved, more and more people will start having the Pluto opposition, and certainly Pluto opposite Pluto with Leo and Aquarius. So what does this opposition mean to you? It's always useful to think back to similar transits that have happened in the past. For example, you could think back to what happened during your Pluto square Pluto in middle age, in your sort of mid to late 30s or early 40s, for example. What changed then and what change was resisted? You also, around that period, will have had at 42, you would have had your Uranus opposition, and you also at some point would have had the Neptune square Neptune in middle age. Again, those times are worth looking back at and asking the same questions. So what occurs during this current opposition, this upcoming opposition of Pluto in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius, is the idea of unfinished business. What unfinished business was there from that time? What still needs to be finished and dealt with, and what can be let go of? There's also the possibilities for creating new structures in your life, particularly if old structures are broken down. It's a period of ongoing growth, transformation, and a change in relationships as people leave. And of course, a change in the relationship to yourself, or a change in your life events. The opposition also asks, where can you find more balance in your life? For example, in your working life, it might have been hard to strike the balance between work and family life and pleasure. Now, potentially, if you're retired, it might be difficult to find the balance between doing and being. So again, a time to think about how you can either do more or do less to have a better balance in your life. Clearing of old relationship patterns. As all of us age, we lose people in our lives. So people have left and new people come in. The clearing of old relationship patterns can mean new relationships can come in. Surrendering to the inevitability of change, which is always a difficult one, or it can be a difficult one with Pluto transits. But it goes through our whole life. We go through changes in our whole life, in the situations in our life, in our bodies as we age as well. So what's it like to be in rather advanced old age? For many people now, the 80s and the mid-80s still feels quite young because, as I said, longevity and health has really improved over the years. It's also a time when you are probably able to utilize the wisdom of your maturity and age to benefit yourself, to benefit others, the family, the community. Another chance to become a wise elder, and it's never too late to do new things. Certainly an opposition is like a full moon, a feeling of culmination, a sense of wanting and needing balance, maybe a period of completion. There might be tensions around personal sovereignty. Pluto in Leo likes its own sovereignty. It's a stubborn sign, of course, remember. So the idea of having your own personal sovereignty and freedom versus surrendering to the group. Perhaps you need more help. Authority versus democracy, of course, is a very Pluto Aquarius opposition theme. And that might be within families. Perhaps family might be taking decisions away from you, and you might have to push back against that, or you might have to surrender to it. But certainly, Pluto opposite Pluto offers lots of opportunity for growth, for transformation, for empowerment. Now, I hope this has been useful. I hope it's been interesting. Please share, please like, please subscribe to this channel. Send this video to anyone you know in the Pluto in Leo generation who might be interested or might benefit from this video. And tune in next time. It'll be Pluto Virgo generation, followed by Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. There'll be a little video for each generation, each current Pluto generation, and what it means with Pluto and Aquarius. If you are not sure of some of the themes of Pluto and Aquarius itself, you can go back to the second video in this series. Thank you so much, and I hope you'll join me next time. Bye for now.